Hey my loves, today I have such a story for you. Some of you may know about this already, some of you may not, but I actually have an email account where you guys can send me your own stories for me to read on my channel. If you send me a story there and you're okay with me reading it in the video and putting it on my channel and all that fun stuff, and sometimes I'll read them. And I was so lucky because I got an email from my subscriber Molly, and Molly seriously has the craziest stories. I'm just gonna read it to you straight away. I don't even want to put any suspense on this. If you love Disney, if you love creepy stuff, you're gonna love this story. I have read Molly's email 30 times. I've shared it with every single one of my friends, and I'm so excited to finally read this to you guys. Hi Loey, first off, love your channel and you are such a beautiful person. Thank you, Molly, you're so sweet. To preface these stories, I worked at Disneyland Resort in Anaheim for 4.5 years and saw my share of messed up stuff. I'm going to tell you 3 of the creepiest stories I ever had any part in. It's been quite some time since I worked for the company, and I'm going to be changing names to protect those who were involved from persecution because some of them are still there. Using my name is fine, Molly. It's my writer's name anyway. Story 1. This story takes place about 6 months after I hired in. I had completed my last area of training and was loving my job. I mostly worked the night shift, 6 p.m. to about 2 a.m., and had made lots of friends within my own department and neighboring departments. So this night I got off earlier than usual and was waiting for some friends to get off work so we could go on our bi-weekly late night dinner at the local Denny's. It was about midnight and I walked over to our costuming department to exchange my dirty costume for a clean one so I didn't have to come to work early the next day. As I make my way over, I had to pass by a section of our work area that was near a guest walkway and only divided by some thin bushes and a fence. I walk by and see someone pushed up against one of the bushes and one eye staring me down through a small hole they had made in the bush. Now, I am not a shy person. I call out, "Excuse me, please don't do that. This area is off limits to guests." Nothing happened. The eye stayed fixed on me and I decided that this was starting to get creepy. I turn around and make my way to a nearby security booth where another friend of mine was working, Moses. I tell him what's going on and he radios for backup. After a few minutes and confirmation that security was in the area, I begin to walk back to costuming. I don't see anything when I walk back and I figure they probably booked it when I walked towards the security booth. I waited for my friends near Moses's booth, and after I meet up with them, we begin to walk towards the bus that takes us to the parking lot. I told my friends about what I saw, and one of them mentions that there is another wanting to join us who worked in downtown Disney. We decided to walk over to get her just to be safe. We began our long trek towards downtown Disney, chatting and laughing, when we noticed that there was someone standing at the front gate of Disneyland staring at the gate. We keep walking, thinking that this person was a late night straggler trying to get a good picture of the front gates. Then my friend Joseph stops us all and whispers that this person seems odd. This guy in a ratty coat in a very warm California summer night, old jeans but very well-kept hair, turns to face us. My friends are stunned and I dial Moses on my phone, hoping he sees it. This guy then begins to run towards us and we book it back into our backstage area. Moses got my call and had sent a couple of guards out to meet us when all he heard was yelling. The guy ran the other way when he saw the guards and we had to be escorted to our cars. The next day I caught Moses on his way into work and he told me that the guy was mentally ill. He had broken a bottle on him and had been caught trying to enter the property with it earlier that day. He had gotten away and came back to finish whatever he had intended on doing. Story 2. This story didn't happen directly to me, but I was involved. So I had just become a trainer and was with my first solo trainee group. I had 4 trainees, all of which were college girls under the age of 20. Being quite a few years older than most of them, the girls and I developed this mother-hen/baby chick relationship that would last throughout my years at Disney. During our lunch break, I was telling them that sometimes we get weird people in our parking lot since it's a few blocks from the resort and lightly guarded. Frightened, one of the girls, Gina, asked what she should do if she got confronted by someone like that. I told her the procedure. Then she asked what should she do if she got attacked in the parking lot. Now, I have some fighting experience under my belt in martial arts and weapons training, so this was right up my alley. I tell her that if she is ever in a situation that she could not get help, to fight her attacker off by any means necessary and get help. I showed her a couple of ways to get her attacker off and assured her that I had never heard of it happening in my 2 years there. So that night, we get off our training and we go to the parking lot. I had parked on the other side of the parking lot. I said goodbye to the girls and sent them off in a group to their respective cars. The next day, I found out that Gina had been attacked near her car. She had walked with the girls to her car, and after they walked away, a man pulled her out of her unlocked car. Gina, remembering what I had taught her that day, got away from her attacker and miraculously found a security guard. The man, dazed by Gina's attack, was arrested. The next time I came into work, Gina gave me a gift, although I protested, for saving her life that day. She told me that if I hadn't shown her what to do, she would have probably been dead or very badly injured. That was so scary. I can't even imagine being in a situation like that. It's crazy how that works out, and like that she literally asked about it that day what to do. This is the last story, story 3. I had gotten injured on the job and was working at a New Orleans Square store until my injury healed. I had a box fall on my hand and broke it in consequence. It was closing time, and as a courtesy to my temporary coworkers, I would often help them clean up right before and during close, even though it wasn't my job. I traded pins up front. We had finished closing the store very early, and because of my status as a transitional worker, what we called workers who were injured and couldn't work their own department, I couldn't leave early without permission from my manager. So everyone else left, and the lead for that store went off to call my manager to early release me. At this point, the park had been closed for an hour and no guests were around. Being tucked away in a corner of the land, it was pretty quiet once the guests had left, and I couldn't even hear the cleaner machines outside. Suddenly, I hear someone say, "Excuse me?" and I jumped. Thinking it was a rare lost guest, I looked outside the closed glass doors and saw no one. Being pretty tired, I thought it was just in my head and I was dozing off. A few minutes later, I heard again, "Excuse me?" But it was coming from a storeroom a few feet away. I don't know if it was because I was tired or I had a momentary lapse in sanity, but I walked towards the stockroom and looked down the stairs. It should have been empty, but I figured someone got stuck down there and needed help. I walked down the long flight of stairs into the small room with boxes lining the walls. I called out, "Hello?" but got no response. I shrugged, thinking I had just heard someone outside but couldn't see them. I walked back up and towards the front of the store when I heard the voice again. "Excuse me?" I was thoroughly frightened and booked it to the manager's office. I told her what had happened and she checked the stockroom and told me no one was there. I think she thought I was crazy, but after asking around, I found out that a few people had heard the same thing late at night when they are alone. It's always the voice of a woman and it only says, "Excuse me," in a questioning tone. You guys, it was so kind of Molly to send me her creepy, weird Disney stories. It's so cool to hear that from someone who's not only a subscriber of mine, but who actually worked at Disney, like a member of our family that worked at Disney. Isn't that crazy? That was really weird, really creepy. I've been reading those stories to everyone because they're so scary, and oh my God, you guys, that last one, that's so weird. I love Disney themed things, so if you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have a scary or a weird story you want me to read on my channel, make sure to send me an email, you guys. I love hearing from you guys. I love reading your stories. I love getting to tell your stories. It feels like we're all like sharing our tales around a campfire, you know what I mean? I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Until then, be happy, be safe. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.